There are a ton of new attractions in the park, and Chris and I haven't been involved in one of these.
So it's time to pick our top 5 attractions from Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios Florida.
This is episode 560 of the Unofficial Universal Orlando Podcast. Hello everyone! Welcome to another show, 560.
It's interesting that your last show is like a rounded number.
Just
Not
like,
ever, by the way.
just like me, I'm rounded too.
me too, girl. Me too.
Yeah, the
For the round crew, everybody.
I'm trying my
Pre-holiday.
hardest not to be right now. I've lost a bit of weight, actually.
I think I'm just embracing it at this point.
I tried a pre-holiday diet and that didn't happen. So, whatever.
I can get into
So-
clothes that I couldn't get into 6 months ago, so I'm quite happy.
Do I need to introduce
you.
anybody? Because you've heard them all. Got Lee,
Hello, everyone.
Michelle,
Hi.
and Chris.
What's up?
Yeah. But, so, as we said in the intro, it was a long time ago since we did our favourite ride rankings. In fact, so long ago that I don't remember it.
I've gone through our old episodes. I can't even find it, but I think it was like pre-2015.
Wow. Old then.
It's weird because it feels like we've done this. Like we've done a lot of top 5s.
Yeah.
We have.
And I feel like we've done other lists where we talk about like our favorite things as attractions, but
Yeah, which
It's
we've
not
done queues and facades and stuff like that, and we wouldn't have done those having not done favourite rides. It feels like favourite rides or attractions would be the first thing you did, and then you come up with all the bullshit ones
Right.
after that to fill in the space. So I think it was. I will find it at some point, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's definitely before you two joined.
I was going to say, yeah, so Chris and Michelle haven't done theirs at all. So it is time. So we're talking rides and attractions and sit-down shows. So,
that are currently open, right?
Yes,
yes.
Okay.
at
yes.
the parks right now.
So
Okay.
let's start, shall we?
Yeah.
I'm going to start at number 5. And I'm going to get Lee to kick us
Oh
off.
my god. Right. So I will state now before I get off everybody. There are very specific reasons for things that are on my list, and there are very specific reasons for things that aren't on my list. So I'm going to begin, and I will clarify those reasons. Well, I won't mention the ones that aren't on my list, I guess, but there'll be omissions that people will be expecting. Anyway, my number 5, I'm going to put my first sit-down show on my list, and this is something that the first time we saw it, I was expecting big things from it, and it far exceeded those things. That it's something I will see multiple times a trip now, and that is in Hollywood, the Bourne Stuntacular.
That's a good one.
I would not give you for that.
I absolutely adore it, and I see something. We've seen it about 4 or 5 times now, and I see something new every time we see it. Because the first time you see it, it's like so much going on that you can't take it all in, and it's just mind-blowing. But then that second time you see it, you know what's coming, and those things are even more mind-blowing because you can't really figure out how some of the things... It's like the car chase at the end, but the perspective on the screen changes, but so do the cars. It's mental.
Yeah, and they're all
it's
moving
mental.
about.
Like,
Yeah.
it is so good.
Yes.
Yeah. It's so hard to draw your eyes away from whatever they're trying to draw your eyes to long enough to watch like the vehicles change or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I purposely am like, all right, I'm going to watch it this time.
Yeah.
I'm watching.
Yeah.
How do they do it? I miss it like every
Yeah.
time.
Like the way the physical things line up with the screen things,
And
like
then
the
move
motorbike.
along
Oh,
the
it's
screen. It's just
amazing.
Like
yeah.
the motorbike, when they go to the guy's house, and the lights aren't real
yeah.
on the screen, but
yeah.
they're shining up, and it's just it blows my
Well,
mind every time I see it.
It's like the little houses, they line up, and there's smoke coming out the chimneys.
Yes,
And it's just...
it's amazing.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I mean, I might as well jump in. This is my number 5 as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But like you said, it's little things like you have the helicopter above, and it's quite a downdraft.
Oh yeah,
And-
it was freezing
Yeah.
in December.
It's so good.
Anyone listening, and you guys know how much I adored T2 3D, and for me to go, I'm all right with this replacing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Worthy successor.
Because it doesn't need to be 3D either. But then
No.
you've got like the live actors in it and stuff. It's It's everything I
Yeah.
want from a stunt show at a theme park.
And the fact that the stage is at a level where you can't actually see where the stage opens, where there's a treadmill and stuff like that. It's just...
It's awesome. It's just, it's amazing. It is I know that's my catchphrase, but it is amazing. It's unreal.
It's a never miss for me now.
It's that ride when it came out, or the attraction, we did it. We were blown away by it, and just really didn't do it again. And then only recently, we did it probably once more. But then recently, the past, I don't know, few trips, there's been different groups that we've been meeting up with to go hang out at the parks. And we just so happened to do Bourne probably 3 times in the last couple months. And every time there was like somebody new who had never seen it. So I love doing that ride with somebody who's never seen it. And then I've also just really enjoyed going those multiple times. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have walked in to just do it again.
Yeah, for us, it's like Tracy said. I'm glad that you're there with me. That I'm not having to fight to go and see it. That we could quite happily just go. Oh, Bond's in 5 minutes. Fancy go? Yep. Hell.
I would definitely pout if I didn't get to see that.
Yeah, it's
on a
so
trip.
good.
So,
and we've been lucky as well. I know a lot of people say it goes down quite regularly. We've never not seen the full show yet.
Finish the fucking sentence.
There you go. You got one coming up.
So, but yeah, I love it. Put it this way, I've considered buying some merch from it at the end as well. It's so good. And again, it was that thing when they first announced it, it was like, Bourne? Really?
Yeah, we were very skeptical.
The films are old. It just shows that you can do a theme park attraction on a property that's largely irrelevant and still do something that is so good.
Waterworld.
Yeah.
Yeah. Michelle?
My number 5 is also a show, and I considered Bourne Stuntacular, but I had to let something else trump it, and that is the horror makeup show.
Okay.
Because I love horror makeup show so very much. And it's the way that I compiled my list is the first thing I thought about were the things that are like most important to me every trip I go.
Yes.
Things that I just automatically think that I have to hit. And there were a few other honorable mentions that I'm not going to get to yet because I don't want to give it away. But and the number 5 spot is the one that I had the hardest time deciding. But because I have to hit this one every time I go, it made it to my list.
Yeah, it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it's pretty much the same script every time and I know what to expect, it almost makes it better that I know what to expect because I know when they deviate.
That's a really good point.
Yeah. I know when they deviate and it cracks me up.
Yes.
Knowing that they're taking a little bit of creative liberties. And I just love it. I love all the actors and actresses that are in that show. They all do a fabulous job and it's hilarious.
Yep. There's nobody that comes out in there and go, oh no, not them.
But shout out to Robin and Summer because they are the
dream
goats.
team.
Oh yeah.
And Russell.
Yeah.
Russell.
For sure.
All of them, but it's like Summer and Robin.
Can we have a triple whammy of those? That would be
The dream team. I mean, we went to see it in, I can't remember if it was in September or when we were over in November, December, and Summer's foam thing off her mic came off.
That was hilarious.
But she couldn't get it back on, and they just worked it into the show. It was hilarious.
That's called some amazing improv.
Yeah, it really was, because they could have just kind of just babbled through it and not brought attention to it, but because they just completely owned it and carried on, and it was brilliant.
And made it saucy, which was very funny.
Yeah. Funny. It is
Yeah.
awesome.
Chris, what do you have at number 5?
My number 5, and actually before I get into that, the way I got my list together was just rides that, like you guys said, you have to hit on every trip.
Yeah.
Or just rides that generally just bring me joy to ride. And the number 5 spot is not something that came to mind until I had all the rides listed out. And I'm like, yeah, that would be a number 5. And that for me is Popeyes.
I just called it.
He did.
And honestly, I ride Popeyes maybe once a year. And that's only because I will only ride it in the middle of summer when I can go back to the hotel and change, because I hate, despise, loathe being wet in the parks.
Entirely.
So
Really? I've never heard of anybody like that.
Won't do it. I won't do it. But if I could somehow ride Popeyes and come off of it like Back to the Future, where you just hit the button and drive off,
Oh, yes.
I would ride that every single ride or every single trip.
I'm with you on that.
Oh yeah, I love it. It's fun. I have legitimate just laughter the entire time that I ride that. I have amazing memories with like my family riding that, and Alexa and I we just get a joy out of it. And it's actually a pretty thrilling ride when you go through it.
It is. I've only ridden it once, actually.
Really?
It's so good. And like, if you go in the right times, we've done just back-to-back rides when there's no wait. It's so fun.
I never generally get to ride it because Tracy's not a big, like, she likes them but doesn't want to be same as you. She doesn't like being, it has to be a planned
all water rides in one go, and then go get dried and changed.
Tracy, yes, exactly that. Like when we've done it, it's been, we're hanging out at Sapphire, we're by the pool, hey, we got our bathing suits on.
Yeah.
We walk over to the parks, we kill off Popeyes, we do Dudley's, and then we do Jurassic, and that's it. We go back to the hotel.
Yeah, that's a good plan.
It is. But it is because, like, even if you get a boat full of strangers, you still have a laugh with everyone. You bond over getting absolutely soaked. It is so much fun.
I just don't like squelching afterwards.
Yeah, to be fair, like when we were younger and we first started to come over, it was like I loved watching people walking around because they've just been on Pop. But I also liked being that person as well, like squelching around, kind of playing, like acting up on it as well. Do you know what I mean? I mean, we did that 4 times in a row.
Yes,
one of the trips we first came out.
Yeah, I think my spleen was wet.
I haven't been able to bring myself to ride any of these raft rides ever since that incident happened at another theme park where it flipped. Do you guys remember that story?
That rings a bell.
It was over here.
That was
because
did it
was
flip or
was
did
it
the kid fall
Thorpe
out?
Park?
That was Alton Towers.
No,
I don't remember what it was. It flipped and
because of
trapped them underneath the water.
Was it this style like ride vehicle?
It was like it flipped and trapped them underneath the water. A couple of the kids were able to get out, but like they had to stand there and watch their parents just drown, basically.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was an awful, awful story, and I haven't been able to bring myself to ride them since because of that.
No, I did actually manage to ride Popeyes once and not get a drop of water on me.
Yeah, I still don't know how that happened.
I don't. And then the next time I went round, I got all the water.
I never get wet at Jurassic Park River Adventure ever. It's
Keep
a big
your private business to yourself, Michelle. Stay on topic.
Dinosaurs don't do it for Michelle.
Nope, they don't. Sorry. But my family, it's a big argument with me and Audrey because she won't ride it with me ever because she thinks she gets soaked. And I'm like, I literally never get even a drop.
You will next time you ride it because that's what we did. We went on it, like Darren, we tried to drag Darren on it in 2013. And he was like, I'm not going on it because you always get wet. We were like, we'll go on it then. You look after the bags. And we got soaked.
Yeah, that was karma.
Really?
Yeah. But yeah.
Fun.
Right, let's move on to number 4 then. So since I ended up jumping in, I guess I'm starting. My number 4, I am not happy about this. Until literally...
How can you be not happy? It's your list.
I know, but it should be higher.
She's angry at the
It
person
should be
who made
higher.
the list.
It should be higher, but reasons made it lower. In fact, until literally just before we started recording, it was the number 5 spot. But these are the 2 I've been flipping backwards and forwards. Born and Men in Black.
Okay.
And I'm very angry that it's at number 4 because it's been my favourite thing forever.
Yeah.
It's... Everybody knows our love for Men in Black.
It's a staple. It's a staple of a UUOP meet.
It is. We need some new guns. We know
it needs refurbishment.
It does.
All together.
Yeah.
I'm sure they've just added some new guns into. I posted a picture from someone posting some a while ago that
they just need someone to get in there with Q-tips.
No, the whole thing needs.
It does.
Yeah, it really does.
But if they could just focus on the lasers first, and then everything else.
That's the fun part of it. And we're competitive. Everybody's competitive. Let's face it. And it's a blast. Pardon the pun.
I need to ride it with Chris and Alexa because I embarrassed the out of myself when we rode that during Horror Nights last time because I got the worst score in the car, and Raymond was with us. That's how bad it was.
Why? Are you saying your son is bad?
He doesn't ride it anywhere near as much as we have, so yeah, I think I should be better than him.
Oh.
Well, and there's like no consistency to it. Like that button at the end, either everybody who pushes it needs to be able to get it, or just one. Like it does. It tends to vary by the car, and that ticks me off.
It's not just the button. It's again just going back to the gun. It just goes back to the gun because we've all ridden this God knows how many times, right? You can hit pretty decent scores, but then like on the weekender, I think I barely hit 100K, which is embarrassing. And I'm like, I hit every same thing I always hit, but the gun just sucked.
Yeah.
You know what? I had a dream about Men in Black last night. This is kind of funny.
Not the ride, just Men in Black.
The ride. The ride. I don't dream about men, honey.
That was very camp, wasn't it?
It's her hot take.
So on the guns in my dream last night, the guns each had a different color laser. So you would know what you're aiming at.
Yep.
Yeah, but they don't want you to make it easy.
Well, that doesn't really necessarily make it easy. It just makes it more fun because you actually know if you're targeting correctly.
It does make it easier, though.
That's why the first thing you come round is you look where you're, and then you just follow it round.
I have a system with mine, and I'm not telling you what it is.
Okay.
Because then everybody will do it, and I won't have my system anymore.
I agree with you, Michelle. That would be awesome, though. Like,
yeah.
Because sometimes it's extremely annoying, especially when you're in a cart with all veteran shooters.
Yes, that's the problem.
Everybody shoots the same spot, but you know how you got to like move it just a little bit to get to the spot, but you don't know which laser is yours.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it would just make it more strategic and fun, honestly.
So why so low down?
Because the other thing's placed higher.
Okay.
That's legitimately the only reason.
Well, no, it might have been a case that placed itself low rather than things being better than it pushed it down.
Right.
No, look at what's above it. It's in the right place.
Okay.
But I'm just kind of like, what?
You know how much I love it. I mean, I went in. So we talked about last week's show, me going into the parks on my own. You were going to Cape hopping with Jade. Raymond was going in the shower. I was like, bugger it, I'm getting on the bus. Jade.
Did Jade go with me?
Yes. Raymond was going in the shower, so I ran into the park on my own and I rode it 7 times in a row.
Fun.
And I got worse as it went on. I got like a crappy score and then a decent one and then a really decent one and then crappy. Whoa.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, there's just no consistency with those guns.
Yeah.
No, I think I just got bad.
No.
It's really not even about skill anymore. It's just about luck of the draw with what gun you get.
They're so bad. So like Alexa and I, every single time we ride it, we wager something, right? It's a handshake. And we have these rules that are established, right? Training room is where we decide if the bet is on or the bet is off.
Right.
Depends on the score that you get there because that one should be a very consistent score every time. You're close, it hits it. And so we'll look at it. We see the scores. We go, no, bet's off. Either one can call it off. And that's how bad the guns are and inconsistent that you have to have if you're that competitive, right? You have to have this mechanism in place to make sure that it's even for both parties.
Yeah.
That's pretty smart.
I'm not sure which ride it was. It could have been the weekend, a group ride. And I came out the training room and I hadn't hit 4 figures.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I didn't do very well at all. That whole run, that gun was bad.
Yeah. Well.
So, Michelle, what do you have at number 4 for us?
My number 4 is Spider-Man.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one of those, again, that I have to do every time. I have lots of good memories in that one with Krissa because for the longest time, that was one of the only ones that she would ride. And she was super cute in it. And I love it. I don't know what else to say about it other than I love it. I love the graphics. I love the fire effects. I love the little hidden Easter eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love Spider-Man.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's a great ride.
I think it definitely lost something when they changed over to the digital projection. I've said before, it doesn't have that pop out at you like the old school proper projection 3D had. So you lose something on Transformers. I think all the 3D attractions you don't get that same leap out at the screen that you used to get with the digital projection. But I like it.
I wonder if that's why the final drop doesn't affect me.
No, because I used to dig my feet into the ground every single time. But I like it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why it's still regarded as one of the greatest dark rides in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
Oh yeah.
I love it. I don't see it losing its popularity anytime soon.
No.
And that's what,
No,
like
I
a
don't.
20-year-old ride now.
They're open with irons, isn't it? So it's like 24 years this year.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy.
And like Spider-Man's still as popular as ever, so it'll always, it's generally, if the parks are busy, it'll have a long wait.
Yeah. Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Chris, what do you have for us in the number 4 spot?
My number 4 is probably not on anyone else's list,
Oh my God, Fast and Furious.
but it is. No, that's my number 1. But it is probably my favorite photo spot where Tracy has been before. And that's going to be E.T.
Oh.
And I picked it not, for any other reasons aside from we hit it every single time that we go there. I know that sounds bad.
I mean, it does when you.
Yeah, we go there. It's just a sense of nostalgia.
Yeah.
We legitimately enjoy riding it. Like, it's just a thing that when we go, and it's almost more times than not our closer ride for our weekend. So when we're gonna be going home, it's like, all right, let's jump on ET, and it's kind of like a ceremonial thing at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I love E.T.
Yeah.
I always rode it because it was there and you felt like you should. And then the fact that we've ridden it quite a lot over the last 2 trips, I actually really like it now.
I have warmed to it. I do still play up, but
It definitely still has a place in the park. I wish they'd give it a bit more, update the animatronics. I know they won't. I know they'll never spend any money on it, but just kind of bring it up. If they brought that ride up to the animatronic standards of other stuff in the parks, it would be awesome. But there's definitely it has a certain charm about it, doesn't it?
Okay.
Yeah,
It does.
It reminds you of parks of old, right?
Mhm.
Like you go ride
It's like
pirates.
Carousel of Progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ride pirates and you ride some of these other things. Those are really old animatronics that barely move, but you just have a sense of nostalgia there for it, and that's it. It takes you there.
Yep.
And with all the recent closures we've had, it's made me realise that really should be trying to ride everything, because you
I've
never
said the
know
same.
when
You
it's going
never
to be your
know.
last
Especially you guys.
go around.
Yeah, well,
that's
it's
the last true original.
I think
Yeah.
that ride will only ever go once Mr. Spielberg is no longer around.
Oh, I'm gonna be so sad.
Very.
Because like we said, who thought when Poseidon reopened 6 months ago, whatever it was, that they'd be closing it in May this year? No one
Yeah.
foresaw
Insane.
that coming. So who knows?
I legit rode E.T. as a child, though.
Yeah.
That would be hard.
Not the ride,
see it
just
go.
E.T.
Scott's gonna go
That
there.
entire sentence was just like, holy So you rode ET and that was hard.
Yeah,
What
Yeah.
did you just say?
that's what turned a gay.
Yeah,
Might
do
be.
it.
Got
You
that
assumed
magic
E.T. is
finger,
a
though.
male?
Whoa!
Wow.
Wow!
Probably bleep that out.
So just as you reach that point, that's when he says, "Welcome home, you've arrived."
That's the posh way, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
I've arrived.
Producers
Jesus
Club
Christ.
cut.
That's getting left in. Wow. Yes, I like E.T. You're right, it's not on my list. It would never be in my top favourite attractions, but I do really like
My
it.
number one.
I got to ride it with my buddy Brian at the weekend, and it was fun.
Yes.
Who did
Yeah,
you
it was-
ride with on that trip?
Zane. Wasn't it?
Who?
Is it Zane?
I don't know. You were there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, Zane.
All right.
I
I
think
think
one of the funniest, I just remembered right now, one of the funniest times I rode that is we brought Alexa's brother, who's younger. I mean, he wasn't young. He was probably at the time maybe 18, something like that. But he hadn't been to the parks in forever. I don't think he ever rode ET. And we brought him on there. And I was just messing with him the entire trip. And I told him, like, you have to pedal on this ride. It doesn't move. And he was so bothered to ride this because he didn't want to do any pedaling. So the entire queue, it was like, dude, if you don't do it, everybody's gonna get mad at you in the cart. You just have to do it. The kid was so frustrated. He got on the part on the ride vehicle. He looks over at me. He goes, "You piece of." It was well worth it.
Oh yes,
That's great.
yeah. Lee, what have you got?
I've got the anti-hero to Michelle's number 4.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
So I like Spider-Man, but I much prefer Transformers.
Okay.
And Chris and I have talked about this before. It's the exact same ride system, but I just have more fun on Transformers. From start to finish, it is balls to the wall, non-stop action. And it's like, I hate those movies with a passion.
Uh-huh. Especially is it an Autobot or a Decepticon with balls?
That's the second one, isn't it? But
The
they
truck
take
nuts.
everything that you would want that's good from those movies and put it in the attraction. The how a slow motion bit works in that type of attraction and never feels awkward. It's so cool. The fact that they got Frank Welker back to do the voice of Megatron instead of can never remember his name, Agent Smith. What's his name?
I can see him.
Anyway, is awesome. I wish we'd have got that full animatronic at the end. Hugo Weaving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would have been...
That would have topped
yeah.
Spider-Man for me if they had that.
Yes,
for sure.
it would have been amazing. But I just have a hell of a lot of fun, and it's generally not a long wait when we're there either.
And the queue is such that it doesn't feel...
Yeah, and that's something that's affected my list is how long sometimes you will wait to get on something. I will just put that there. But I adore Transformers. I think the lift section, again, is one of those mind-blowing things that if you don't know it's there, you will never, ever notice it. But when you know it's there, it just adds an extra element to it. I think it's so cool. Yeah, I just think it's awesome. And it's better. I like it more than Spider-Man. I appreciate Spider-Man's probably the better attraction. It's more physical sections in it, whereas Transformers is a little bit more screen based. But I have a lot more fun. I ride Transformers way more than we ride Spider-Man.
See, and I'm the opposite. I think that's why I prefer Spider-Man more than Transformers, because Transformers is a little bit busier as far as like the screens, and it's full of more action, and it tends to sometimes get me a little bit sick and or a little bit headachy afterwards, because
Really?
it's so whereas Spider-Man doesn't do that.
Okay. I can't say I've ever... And you know me, I like motion sickness. The rest of it never bothers me.
Yeah.
No, I adore it.
I still ride
love
it all the time, but yeah.
And if I'd have visited that attraction as a 10-year-old, I'd have...
Transformers?
Yeah, I'd have bankrupt my parents in the supply vault at the end. Like, I kind of want to buy it all now as an adult who doesn't like spending money on crap like that. But if I'd have gone in there as a kid, yeah, Transformers was the thing I was into at like 10, 11, 12.
I'm just having
Right there with you.
Just having a little daydream about a mashup. Imagine Jimmy Fallon race through New York, but in Transformers.
So through the Transformers ride.
Yeah.
So just Jimmy Fallon pops up while you're getting pulled through the city by Starscream.
No, but you're in, like, it's the race and everything, but you go through
Devastator.
And yeah, that'd be quite funny. I don't know why, my brain's just weird. Let's move on to number 3 then before I say anything. Michelle, why don't you kick us off at number 3, please?
Sure. My number 3 is Escape from Gringotts.
Okay. That doesn't surprise me.
Okay. For a long time, Gringotts was my favorite. I love it so much. I do ride it every time. I love that it is a mixture of roller coaster and screen based. I love the drop at the beginning. That's one of my favorite parts. I always ask to sit in the back row because it makes it the most thrilling, and I put my hands up and it's just fun. But then I like the screens like in between. It gives you just a little bit of respite from the crazy roller coaster aspects of just riding a plain roller coaster. And the special effects, you know, like you're falling and all that stuff is pretty well done. And then I love the takeoff at the end with the dragon, where you're flying through with the dragon. That's cool. And it's just always fun. And it's been open for years and everybody still claps at the end. And I don't know. I just feel good when I'm done riding that ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the fact that it tells a story that
Yeah.
but it's like adjacent to. Again, I've said this a million times. Universal don't just do like every Disney attraction is like, here's the Little Mermaid
scene from the movie. Yeah.
It's just the movie in like scene by scene. Universal don't do that with anything. Even so, going back to E.T., even E.T. isn't that. We're going to go, right, here's the first half of the ride. This is everything you know from the film that you love, that you want to go through, but then we're going to add this crazy acid trip on the end.
Right.
No Universal attraction takes a movie IP and just puts you scene by scene through it. They all do something different, and this is the best one they've done for me.
Yeah.
Because it could have quite easily been going on.
Obviously, I have the glasses issue with it.
Yes.
I don't remember whether I've actually ridden it with lenses in.
Okay.
Wonder if that's any different for me.
It was one of them, like Tracy and I were kind of similar on it, where it's like when we first rode it, it was like, it was all right. Forbidden Journey was like, it was amazing. And then when you start to realise that Forbidden Journey just made you sick, and started to ride Gringotts a bit more, and you start to see it for what it is really good.
It is.
It grows on you.
It does.
Yeah, my
it's
only
definitely
two
a grower.
problems are when I do love the elevator part, and I like the pre-show, which is cool. But the only problem I have is after you exit the elevator and it's like a free-for-all, everybody's scrambling and getting in fights trying to get over to get those goggles. And then I don't like that you are in an elevator going down like thousands of feet or whatever, miles under the earth, and then you have to go back upstairs.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make sense to me.
Well, because you're not going down, but the load dock's like a level up from where you are. Spoilers if you didn't realise it's not a real elevator, by the way.
Also,
I know, but I mean, like, storyline wise, that disconnect bothers me.
But I don't know how else they could have done it.
My concern is obviously I had mobility problems last time we were over there, and those stairs were a killer.
It's quite narrow.
Well, they have an elevator.
Do they have an elevator?
All right, I didn't know that.
Of course,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, they do. When
Right.
you come out of there, you can let an attendant know.
Yeah, there's an
I'll
elevator,
remember
and
that
you
next
skip a
time,
lot of
yeah.
the line.
Yeah, I did struggle that trip.
It basically takes you over to where the child swap is.
Okay.
And you enter from that side.
I see.
It's good to know, actually.
When it first opened, one of the complaints that I had as well was that it didn't seem to know what it was. Was it a moving show? Was it a coaster? What was it? And I've just sat here and gone, but nobody complains about that with the Mummy.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, so...
Everyone loves the Mummy, and everyone complained that Gringotts are like, I just want more roller coasters. It's like, go and ride Rip Ride Rocket, go and ride the Hulk. You've got coasters. This is
the
something
Mummy
else.
does have more coaster element. It does. It has
little
longer
bit more.
bits.
A little bit more.
I would
Yeah.
only say a little bit more, because Gringotts does what that doesn't. Like the cars rotate on the actual train
Yeah,
as
that's
well.
true, yeah.
Because at one point you
Yeah.
could be in the back car but end up at the front.
Yeah.
It's really clever.
It is clever.
Mhm.
I do. As time's gone on, I've got much more of an appreciation for it.
They still never managed to get someone who can emulate Emma Watson's
Oh.
voice. They'd set off defences against us. Shut up, Hermione. Do you know what? Just don't include her.
Yeah.
Or don't have a speaking role. Just shut up.
Right, yeah. I love the bank too. Like that whole when you first
Yes.
walk into the
Yes.
ride and
That
you're
is-
inside
yeah.
the bank. That is like the best
It really is.
I just
scene in a queue ever.
look at those chandeliers and go, that poor bugger has to clean that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
It's
All the
awesome.
goblins. It's awesome.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yep. So that's my number 3.
Awesome. Chris.
Yes.
What do you have?
Number 3. My number 3 was actually just mentioned a couple minutes ago.
E.T.
And
Oh, no,
that
not
would
E.T.
be that would be the Mummy.
Yeah.
Ah.
I'm not surprised.
It's again, you guys are pretty much insinuating similar things where it's just a fantastic ride all around. I think we ride it almost every time unless the weight's like extremely high, but for the most part, we'll ride it every time. It's amazing show. Love the movies, so we have that kind of sense of nostalgia as well. There's, I mean, anybody who's ridden it knows it's one of the GOAT rides.
For sure.
I agree.
Yeah, I have the same issue that I have with Hagrid's, though. I've come to the conclusion at this point that coasters that generally make me ill are ones that have backward sections in it. I do not like backward sections. Because the one in Gringotts makes me nauseous, and so does a little. Not enough to make me ill, but it's just like, I know I don't.
Are you sure you're not just getting old?
No, because there are other things I can ride that are way more intense than the Mummy that don't make me ill.
It's the backwards thing too. It does get me some. You know what I learned to do, Lee, is because I've ridden the Mummy so many times. I know when it's coming. So I actually blow, I take a deep breath and I blow out when it's going backwards.
Chunks.
He does that, but it's usually out of his arse.
Well, it's like to discuss the park that shall not be named. Expedition Everest. That backward portion on that is brutal.
Oh, I love that.
It's brutal.
So that takes you out.
It not enough to knock me out, but it definitely, I feel a little nauseous afterwards.
Yeah, well, that's a big chunk of going backwards. But on the Mummy, it's just a really quick little thing, and I'm telling you, if you just yeah.
What about Hagrid's?
That's what I said. Yeah, that's the same.
Mm-hmm.
That backward section is
one.
not enough to. It's not going to take me out for the day, but it'll definitely. I'll get off and be like, yeah, I might need to just take a little breather.
It's funny because that doesn't affect me, but riding backwards on a train does.
Which is weird.
That is really weird.
Yeah.
Riding back. Oh, okay.
But I do love the Mummy. Again, it's not an opening day attraction, but it feels like it's been there forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it does.
Tracy, I feel that about the train thing.
It's crazy, isn't it?
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I did that flying backwards on an airplane.
You can fly backwards on an airplane?
Well, yeah. I've never seen backward seats on a plane.
I've never seen a plane fly backwards.
But yeah, the Mummy is. I like it, but it's not on my list. I will say that.
Okay.
Okay. Well, what is on your list?
Another show.
Oh.
Wow.
Again, I went off my list of kind of like you guys is what am I going to hit every time we go? And the horror makeup, I couldn't not. Because I want to go and see Summer and Robin, of course, because we always make sure we hit up when they're there. But like Michelle said, and she made the perfect point. I'd never even considered it. The fact that you know the show that well means you know when they go off script. So you appreciate those little bits more and more because you know when it is. But it doesn't matter who you get. They all know each other that well that they riff off each other all the time.
Yep.
I never thought I'd see a show that is essentially the same but can be so different every time you see it.
Yeah, you're almost waiting to see them deviate.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Because we'll see it 2 or 3 times every time we go, because it's another one of those.
And it's never enough.
No.
I mean, I might as well throw my hat in here. This is also my number 3.
Oh, perfect.
We're very synced, me and Tracy, aren't we? I think there's
almost like you're married.
Yeah, you see, I think you saw my list when I made it when we did the hotels.
I have not seen your list. I did this list weeks ago.
So did I.
But it's just, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It gets you. It's again, not a full reason, but gets you off your feet for half an hour in some AC, and you need that. I've said this before. Universal doesn't have really many attractions where you can go and just if you've ridden something, you're feeling a bit nauseous, or you're just tired and you just want to sit but still be entertained. And this is one of them that does. But that's not the main reason. Is it's an amazing show.
Yeah, I also like the fact that it's educational as well, because you're learning about the movie making process.
I mean, kind of.
I mean, obviously, no injecting bleach into eyes, but you are, and it's teaching the young'uns, I'm going to sound like an old fart here, but it's teaching the young'uns about how movies, obviously way before our time, but how movies used to be made.
Yeah.
And it helps people appreciate what goes into it now, because without how it started, you wouldn't have what you have now. And I think it's for that reason, it's an important show, not just entertaining. I think it's quite important.
It's one of those, it really fits at studios, because the studios was supposed to be about making the movies, right?
Exactly.
And so this is one of the only true, attractions that exists in that park now that is literally about making the movies.
Yeah.
And even though this is a nostalgic one for me as well, I wouldn't mind it having an update. Like I wouldn't mind them updating some of the newer technology and.
See, I was going to mention that. I think that's one of the draws for me for that is that when you go in there, it just feels old in the best way possible. Like it's just been around forever. And one side of me goes, yeah, it'd be cool to like integrate certain things. And they have updated a little bit over time the video that they play for you.
Right.
Very little. But it would be cool to see it on stage. But at the same time, it's like,
don't touch it.
It exactly. It has that vibe of like old school Hollywood and horror where it's like, maybe it should just stay like this. Maybe you can reference this. I don't know if I would enjoy seeing, like, I don't go there to learn about movie making. I go there to laugh at the show.
Yeah. Right. Like, I mean, never take away the stuff about the old Hollywood ever. No.
Yeah.
Like, but maybe adding in another minute or two of adding in some of the new updated technology.
You can just have a guy on a laptop like, this is CGI.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, don't take anything away, don't change anything, add to it. And if over the years,
just make it a little bit longer.
Well, this is it.
I'm on board with that.
In 20 years' time, it's a 4-hour show. I'm good with that.
I've still said, I'd like
a separate ticketed event.
Yeah, make it a dinner show. Oh, that'd be awesome. And they could serve really gruesome food.
I've still said that during Horror Nights, not during the event itself, but on park days during Horror Nights, add an element.
During Horror Nights too.
You won't. I think there's a reason. But like, just add an element of during the thing. Be like, currently our seasonal event, Halloween Horror Nights, is going on, and add a little section in about the makeup and stuff from Halloween Horror Nights.
From the current event.
Yeah,
that'd be
have
so
a character
cool.
wander through.
Yeah.
Have a zombie just.
It doesn't need to be something major. Just promote your event during the park day.
Even during Horror Nights, I mean, if you were able to do something like this, and I believe we've discussed this before, where it's like you could have it be something entirely different. It could be literally I would be down just to see them do like light makeuping that they do for that year's, specific. Doesn't even have to be IPs. Just use your own stuff and show
the
us
making of Horror Nights.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
And HHN people would just devour anything that they would throw at them in there.
Horror Nights makeup show.
Horror Nights?
Yeah.
Horror Nights, not that.
Also, the Lobby Museum. We haven't mentioned that, and that's awesome. We haven't actually had a look around that for the last few trips.
I don't think they've changed it
They
an
haven't.
awful lot in the last 10 years.
They did fairly regularly when we were first going.
Yeah, because there was a lot of Van Helsing stuff in there, wasn't there? And I think the last update, they brought some of the new Mummy stuff in from the Tom Cruise one. Other than that, we haven't even seen it.
So but it's fun to see, even though you've seen it before. We go and just look at the same thing over again.
Yeah, there's lots to see, and I don't think I've seen all of it.
It is again, it's a must do every time we go multiple times, without a doubt.
For sure.
Yes, absolutely agree. Right.
I can't believe our 3 and 5 are the same. I wonder if I think our 1 might be, but I don't think our 2 will be.
I don't know.
I'll be surprised if our 2 is the same.
Well, while Lee and I go and duke it out, we'll take an ad break. And we'll see you in a moment after a word from our sponsor.
Man, we need a vacation.
Oh, I got this.
Whoa, that's awesome. But I was thinking something a little more adventurous.
Okay, how about this?
Yes!
And how about some relaxation from Mama?
Oh, perfect. Wait, how did you do that?
Easy. PortKey Vacations.
For your next vacation, let PortKey Vacations take away all the guesswork and stress of planning. From air and hotel to theme park tickets and everything else in between, they've got you covered. Just visit PortKeyVacations.com and touch the PortKey to get started with your free, no-obligation quote request. With just one touch, and PortKey Vacations will magically take you wherever you want to go.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you've all had wheeze and got new drinks and booked a holiday. That'd be the best way to spend a break.
Or a vacation, depending on where you are.
Yes, please.
Yes, I think that's a very good idea. Lee, let's have a little break. You go and book us a holiday.
No.
I'm only having 2 this year. I would like another one, thank you.
Yeah, and one of them's 3 months long, but whatever.
Still technically one.
Is that considered a vacation at that point? I don't know.
It's called relocation.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to number 2. What are we on? Chris, you're kicking us off this time.
Numero dos. So my number 2 is a newer ride, and that's going to be Hagrid's. And so I love thrill rides, love roller coasters, but not to say that I am old, but the older I get, the more sensitive I get to certain things on coasters.
I feel you there.
I think it's just a normal part of life. And while I still do enjoy a lot of, the coasters and things like that, I look for smoothness in coasters now.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I find Hagrid's to be a very, very smooth, enjoyable roller coaster where you get the thrills, you get a story, and you don't come off of it like you just got knocked out by Mike Tyson, from your head bumping everywhere.
Right.
Yeah. And the other cool thing about that ride is, for me at least, it really does feel like 2 different rides when you're on the sidecar or if you're on the motorcycle.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It has that re-rideability. It also has that fighting aspect where you're always going to fight with your significant other on who gets the motorcycle. So then what you do is you take a picture every single time and look back on the last one, and then you say, you rode it, now it's my turn. I don't know if that's everybody or it's just us.
No, we don't do that.
Okay. But yeah, Hagrid's, it's just a general all-around fantastic ride. We try to ride that every time. Again, it's just dependent on how long the wait is, and we all know that ride could be pretty bad sometimes in wait. But we try to do it every time.
So I checked the app yesterday to see what the wait times were, just out because randomly, people in the producer club do it all the time. I'm the only one that randomly checks the app. So at a point yesterday, the longest wait time was for Velocicoaster, which was 45 minutes. Everything else was 35 minutes or under. Apart from Hagrid's, there was 105 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Hagrid's is currently, as of right this second, a 60-minute wait, which isn't bad for 5:30 in the afternoon.
But it's still ridiculous. What's everything else? Like 10 minutes.
If that's 60, everything has to be nothing.
Forbidden Journey is 15.
Yeah, exactly.
Velocicoaster 35.
Yeah. Exactly.
Gringotts 35. Yeah.
Yeah, if Gringotts is 35 and Hagrid's is 60, because Gringotts has had massive wait
That's
times
only 25
recently.
minutes difference.
25 minutes
I'd wait
stood up
60
is a long
minutes.
time. For Hagrid's.
Yeah, you get your snacks in line.
60 minutes is a great wait time for Hagrid's.
You get yourself with a decent crowd of people, you eat some food, you have some good banter, and before you know it.
I queued 50 minutes with Raymond and it down when we were in the outside section.
Yeah, I know, me and Jay decided to do
the
it.
American couple who were stood in front of us, I said, hey, at least you're getting the typically British experience.
Oh.
True.
50 minutes, and that was short.
Yeah.
Generally, I think when we were over in December, it wasn't below. Even the first couple of days when the parks were dead, it was still at like 65, 70 minutes.
Honestly, anything under 120 to me is let's go get in line.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's not worth that wait. An hour's pushing it for me. I can't believe you said you'd wait an hour for it, because for me, I'd be like, ugh. I'd think twice about jumping in that
Michelle
line.
wait 48 hours for it?
Yeah, when it was first
week, wasn't
opened, though.
8 hours times 2.
Sheesh.
But it's been open for like 4 years at this point, and yet it hasn't got any better. And yet you've got literally 5-minute walk down the road, one of the best, most what's the word? Efficient coasters anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Mm-hmm. Go on then, see you've been in the soapbox about that. What's yours?
This one's probably going to shock a lot of people.
Oh.
It's a ride that is in the same park as the one that Chris has just been talking about. It's relatively new. And it's one that we have ridden a crap ton over the last 3 or 4 trips. And that is Skull Island Reign of Kong.
What?
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Not knocking you.
Fine.
I'm just
I'm
saying,
knocking
wow.
him.
I'm surprised. Yeah, I've never really heard you talk about it very much.
We ride it a lot. It's generally one of those attractions that if we walk past it and it's got a short
we'll
wait
jump
time,
straight on
we
it.
will jump in
Mainly because for me it's a sit down.
a lot. I really, really like it, honestly. I think it's got... So you look at Fast and Furious, which you... and then go, right, Skull Island Reign of Kong is exactly the same ride, yet far, far superior.
Done better.
The facade's amazing. The outside port, if you get it when it's not been raining or whatever, and you go through that outside portion, open the gates is amazing, especially at night when the torches are
You've
lit up.
jumped ahead through the queue line.
Yeah, the queue line's awesome.
It's a shame we don't have the live actors anymore,
And
but I understand
we
why.
said when that opened that they
Yeah.
wouldn't last long. Yeah, the witch animatronic thing is
that's amazing.
stunning.
I love that. I will sometimes wait in that room just to hear
Yeah.
them sing
Yeah.
Calm.
I love like the bat animatronics. You know, there's not a whole range of movement in them, but there's enough there. You know, and then the screens as 3D rides go pretty decent.
3D's pretty good, actually.
The 3D's actually. I remember. So the first time we rode it with Raymond, when you get into that 3D tunnel and you lock in, and then the raptors are chasing you, I blew his mind.
I know, it
'Cause
blows
I turned
my
round
mind
to
every
him and I
time.
went, "We're not moving right now," and he was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, we're stood still," and he couldn't get his head round that just wind blowing on you and the screen moving past makes you feel like you're moving.
I would love
It
to
does.
actually get to walk through it and see that
Yeah.
footprint, 'cause it's got to be tiny.
Yeah,
And
that's
look,
the thing.
Look at the juxtaposition of that when you go on Fast and Furious. When you're in that tunnel, moving,
Yeah.
you know you're not moving.
Yeah.
You feel it not moving,
Yeah.
and you feel
Yeah.
the cart start up again and move. Like
Yeah.
it's. I don't know why they can't just match that. It's so annoying.
Yeah. But
So-
yeah, and this. Go on,
I
sorry.
was going to say, but when you get the outside portion, that fact that you are moving really adds to that mind-blowing
Yeah,
part.
'cause you-
It adds that we are moving in those
Because
scenes.
you don't get a lot of speed up. In fact, it's like small movements. So yeah, you're probably right. That plays into it.
Yeah.
But that 360 tunnel's awesome because you've got so much going on from both sides.
yeah.
So you can ride it multiple times and focus on that side, and then this time I'm going to focus on that side. And then Kong's awesome. Let's be honest. And then that animatronic.
Oh, yeah.
animatronic,
is
wow.
amazing. We it kind of broke down a little bit. I think the last time we rode it.
Yeah.
So we went through that section really, really slowly. I don't know. Honestly, it's something we ride a lot. I really, really like it. It's never got a massive wait time, and I was surprised myself when it ended up at number 2.
Wow.
To be quite honest, but I do really like it.
I really like it too, but not enough to be on my top 5, I don't think.
Not
Well,
maybe top
obviously.
3 either. I'm quite shocked.
It's a weird
by
one
that.
where it's like it's weird that you say that, but I'm not going to knock you for it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care if you do.
All right, now I will.
You can do. I'm not bothered. You know, if anybody knows anything about me, it's like this is my opinion, and I'm going to stick to it. I love it. I wish the area was more. I wish there was more to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But it kind of fits in where it is.
it does. It does. Yeah. My number 2 is Hagrid's.
Really?
Yeah.
That surprises me.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you never really make an effort to ride it.
Because usually the line is prohibitively long.
We've ridden it. I've ridden it 3 times now. Our last 2 trips, and 2 of them were only because we didn't have to wait for it.
Yeah, I rode it twice.
Because we didn't have to
Because
wait for it.
yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. I love that ride. But, again, problems I've been having. 60, an hour is my probably my upper limit on waiting time. And that's why, because it would be detrimental to the rest of my day. Standing still for that long is not good for me. But no, I love this ride. Everything Chris said. It's just, you've got storytelling, you've got thrilling speed, which honestly could be faster. I can't really add to anything that Chris said because he just got it all. I just really like it. it's been a while, but even the queue is quite good. Because
Actually, I think as far as party queues go, it's probably the worst.
it's yeah, but it's still good. You know,
Hagrid's?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's remember, it took over dueling where it was just, it's very tight in there.
There's just not a lot going on.
you've got what 2-3 sections to it. 2.
Like
See,
the
you've got
outside,
the
I
outdoor
like
plus
the
the indoor
outside
compared
plus.
to dueling, there was nothing at all in dueling. At least they added
Yeah, it was just cave.
certain, they added somewhat, not interactive, but just
You
elements
go
that,
through a lot of different rooms.
You
though.
do when you look at it, you've got things going on in the ceiling above you. and
Only
you've got,
that one room.
and you've got eggs cracking and things in the window, and you've got Arthur in the car, and
You got the room with the fireplace.
Brilliant. A fireplace.
Oh,
wow.
and
All right,
plants and
come
vines
have
over.
that
and
down here
things
in South
taken over.
Florida, man.
Look, I love Hagrid's, but the reason
Apparently
it's
not.
not on my list is because those lines are just prohibitively long.
Yeah, well, and also it's got Hagrid.
I mean, yeah.
You know, that's a big plus. And who doesn't like a blast-ended Scroot?
I was going to say that.
See?
And fluffy.
Yes.
Or
Although
fluffy.
the unicorns at the end are a bit
Plasticky.
clunky.
And she's a mum.
those unicorns are so bad.
They are
Even
really
from day
yeah,
one, they were bad.
are.
Yeah.
It's like they gave up. They're like, okay,
Yeah,
we're done.
They ran out of budget.
I mean, they kind of have because the centaur doesn't have does it have any movement? The pixies only have movement because one of them's hanging on the windscreen wiper.
Yeah. And that
I don't know.
that element, actually, I love because it's just, obviously we know it's coming. It's
The
when
drop track.
The drop track. It's when you know there's people on that ride there riding for the first time. They have no idea this is coming. And,
Yeah.
and it's just like, I'm like, brace yourself, not for the drop, but for the scream that's going to come because it's brilliant.
So I'm trying to think, does it
It's
just
so fun.
drop?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a free drop. And
No,
then
It
so hang on.
stops
No,
for a few seconds.
because what I'm going so like at 13 at Alton
Yeah.
Towers, it kind of rumbles and then drops about 3 inches and then drops.
Yeah.
Does it do that? I can't remember.
No.
It just it drops. It, just all
drops
of a
into a
sudden
soft
Yeah.
drop and then locks down
So
in
on
place.
13's even better because
I
it
love
does like a
13.
little, you do like a, what the hell's going on here? And then it drops about 3 inches and everyone's like, oh my God, what's going on? And then you drop. It's brilliant.
And it's a
That's
it's
Well,
a
it has
longer
like,
drop than 13.
you know, where you say Lumo Solem and
yeah.
Yeah.
lights. There's like lights all of a sudden, and then it drops, but there's nothing rumbling.
Which I've
I
read
kinda
all
like the
the-
other one where it's like, oh, that's the drop. Okay, we're good now. And then no, now it slams you down.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, you guys will have to come over here. We'll have to take
Oh,
you to
Alton
Alton
Towers.
Towers, and that would be awesome. Yeah. Anyway, I do like it, but it's just I think that the fact
All
that
right, shut up. You've had your turn, Kong. Go on, carry on. He's being chastised now. He's got the look on his face.
I've had my turn. I'm done. Hagrid's isn't on my list, so you can all stick it up your ass.
All right.
Wow. Michelle, would you like to,
Look for
Yeah.
some
back
Hagrids.
against that? Wow.
Let's take this to a different road here. My number 2 is actually The Mummy.
Okay.
Have you?
Yes.
Michelle, have you had Hagrid's on your list so far?
Nope.
Okay, I'm very confused right now, but go on.
I don't know why. So The Mummy, I just love. It's a roller coaster that's not too intense because I still have a little bit of an issue with really super intense roller coasters, aka Rip Ride Rocket. Still don't ride it.
Because you're old.
No, it's because she's a fanny.
Oh, you're an old fanny.
I guess so.
Wow.
I'm not afraid to say that I'm terrified to ride it. I've said it a million times. So I love a coaster that I can confidently ride
Yeah, I
that
get
doesn't
that.
give me those
Yes.
tummy troubles
I
at
get
all
that,
when I'm
yeah.
waiting for it. And The Mummy is that for me. It's like just the right amount of thrill for me. I love that it's an indoor coaster. It's considered still a dark ride, which I love dark rides. I love the queue. Fun queue. It's one of the things that I always have to do during Halloween Horror Nights too. Love it. It kind of fits in with the whole horror theme. I love the different launches. I love the cockroach part. I love the fire part. I don't know. I just love it all. And I especially love it now that Krissa will actually ride it. So it's like definitely a staple of all of my trips, and always will be from now on.
They're scarab beetles, by the way, not cockroaches.
So whatever. Love them.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I
love
like
the
Mummy.
Mummy.
I haven't. It didn't make my top 5.
Didn't make mine. It was my
But I
number
do like
6.
it.
Oh, I love it.
I
It's right
do.
up there with E.T. for me as far as like nostalgia.
Oh, damn it.
Mhm.
That's why.
I mean, I'll take it back. We rode the Mummy about 3 months after it opened. Because it hadn't opened
Initially or the refurb?
No, when it
yeah, it was
when
brand
it
new.
opened in 2005, we came out in like May 2004.
Yeah.
We came out in September 2004, and I think it opened in like May or June that year.
Yeah.
So it
That was your first trip, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So you never, obviously you never rode Kong.
No, because it wasn't there then.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry, I was talking about
why I used to rode
confrontation.
obviously.
Yes, no, I was confused. No, I thought you were talking about Kong. I'm like, it wasn't. All right, no, you mean confrontation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see where you're going with that.
Semantics.
All right.
Yeah, no, we
Yeah.
didn't. Unfortunately,
No, I would have loved to have done.
I love the Mummy.
It's
Yeah.
just a romp, isn't it?
I mean, look,
Like
know,
you
you
put your
can-
hands up and
Yeah.
you're just flying. It's fun.
Even a good queue too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what attraction have you ever been on that has a fake ending in the middle of it?
I know.
Oh, I love
Right.
that.
Like
Every
never.
single time we come up to it, I just start clapping like, yeah, that was awesome. See if I catch anyone.
Yeah.
And then once I learned how to like not break a rib during the stopping parts, then it became one of my favorites.
And it looks better now. It's had like they haven't done too much to it since the refurb, but enough to freshen it up.
But they took away the cockroaches, right?
Scarabs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got rid of the cockroaches. They were real
that
ones.
saddens me. I love how many got like misplaced. So like before they refurbed it, it's like here come all the scarabs. It's like one little thing pops out.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got this, guys. I'll kill it.
I like the team members too. Like they
Yes.
all are just a little bit of a but on purpose.
Yeah.
And it's cool.
I mean, you say it's on purpose. It might not be.
I
Well,
do.
might
John's
not
having a bad day, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're
I'm
all
not
from the
feeling it
Haunted
today,
Mansion.
boss. Can I go and work the Mummy? Yeah, all right then.
See, speaking about the Haunted Mansion, I'm just thinking there, I wonder if they've had any problems recently. It's haunted
Right.
because a worker was killed in the construction.
I
During
thought that was
construction.
Pirates, wasn't it?
No, this is haunted
No.
as well. And if there's a certain thing, if they don't do it in the morning, I've forgotten his name.
I thought that was Pirates.
The Pirates is haunted. This is haunted. But I did a haunted thing of Universal,
know.
not Disney.
Yeah.
This is haunted. I've forgotten his name. And if they don't do a certain thing, they have to say good morning to him. Then the ride will go down. And I'm
On the Mummy.
yeah, and it's
Yeah, it was in the
consistent.
book that that we read. What the heck was his name?
Because how long ago did I do that segment?
A long time ago.
Wow.
Like 2013.
Yeah, maybe just to double digits.
I can't find it.
I can't think what he's called. But yeah, I was just
Mike,
I
if
was,
you're listening, remind us.
Yeah, you'll know.
I was just wondering if there'd been any incidences because obviously they don't make that known to anybody. But I love all that stuff.
Well, there's the haunted sarcophagus down below too.
Yes, there's that.
Cool.
Oh, what I wouldn't give for an after hours walkthrough of that place.
I tried to ask for a walkthrough of it on our last trip, and they
Oh.
were too busy.
You can actually do it. Okay, I should know
Yeah.
that. Apparently,
You're
I'm a
talking about the
host.
Well, not after hours.
No,
but
no.
Like,
Okay.
yeah.
Interesting. Well, that brings us to our number ones.
I'm very confused right now.
Wow.
With somebody's
I am
list.
too.
Well, it's Lee's turn to go first,
But I have a feeling
Which-
at least
which
two
means
of us
I'm-
will have the
which-
same list here. So
which means for definite I am not going to get to talk much about it because Lee'll talk for an hour about the same one that I've probably chosen.
I think Chris has probably got it as well, to be fair.
I think all three of you probably do.
See, I'm surprised. I'm very disappointed that you haven't then. Because I would have called all four of us having the same number one. Apparently not. And the fact that it's not even on your list at all is disgusting.
Something that I said during my last
I don't care.
During my number 2 should explain it.
But that's the reason
Michelle.
that it is on my... Anyway, we'll get there.
So number 1 is?
You let someone else go then.
Well, no, because I've got this order going.
Velocicoaster, it has to be. Like, hands down at 100%. For the exact reason that Michelle said, oh, I don't like riding coasters because they make me ill. Velocicoaster is the most extreme coaster I've ever ridden that doesn't make me nauseous in the slightest.
Oh, it does me. I cannot look to the side.
In the slightest. I've ridden it about 5 times now, and even without Dramamine, and got off it as fresh as a daisy. Because you guys know how nervous I was coming out to ride this, especially after the weekender of like riding Hagrid's that first time. So nervous about riding Velocicoaster. Got off it that first time, was just like, what the hell just happened? And then the second time, again, what the hell just happened? But never, not once, got off it and felt like that I couldn't go back on it again if I wanted to. That whole attraction adds so much to that park, let alone just that land.
Yeah.
And it's funny, we were talking about it last night. So, Chris, you've said it before, that it was way smoother when it opened than it is now. I can't imagine that it could have possibly been any smoother.
Yeah, it's hard to explain, but it was literally like just on glass. Like you're just riding on glass.
It is just, like when we talked to Greg Hall, we said, it is a world-class coaster with world-class theming in a park that generally doesn't do world-class coasters. They have good coasters, but they're not a coaster park. You Cedar Point or a Dollywood or a Magic Mountain is the type of coaster you'd expect there. But I think it stands in some of the best coasters in the world. And it's just awesome. That top hat is amazing. The Mosasaur roll's awesome. The inverted stall's awesome. The double helix round by the back patio in Hogsmeade's fantastic. It's just, but it's over like that, but not in a bad way.
No.
It's over and you're like, what the hell? It's phenomenal.
Yes.
And we've done a night ride. So we've done a night ride. We've done a front row.
Yes.
I've done back row.
I haven't.
I still need to do a nighttime front row.
Have we done front?
Yeah, we did. So we went on this night and we left it too late. So by the time we got through the queue, they closed front of the line off.
Yes.
And then we went back the next morning and rode front row.
Yes, I remember. Yes.
And that was front row with no Dramamine. So I was like, I'm taking a big risk here because I might be ill. And it was our final day before we came home. So I'm like, if I'm going to be ill for the rest of the day, it's not going to be fun.
Oh, no, the back's way worse than the front.
I don't think...
As far as
wow.
sickness goes.
I don't think either of them particularly, to be honest.
You don't mind either of them?
I'm just being a filthy pervert.
I'm just staying quiet.
Wow.
Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead. That's what she said.
No, just ignore them. Ignore them, Michelle. They're disgusting children.
Oh, you sippy little virgin drink.
Yeah, the back is definitely a stronger, more aggressive ride than the front, just because you get the pools. I'm being serious.
There's more resistance at the back.
No, you get exactly. You get that pull from the top hat and any time that you go over any kind of hump, it's you just
get whipped around a little bit more, no matter what the coaster is.
Yeah, well, it's also my number one.
Of course.
I've already put it. I've already put it in. Yeah, everything you said. I love the fact that when you're not even riding it, you can watch the ride. There's viewing points everywhere, and the fact that it's like a containment cage. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, like when you're in that entrance plaza, they knew exactly what they were doing with the Mosasaur roll right there, and the top hat kind of comes down.
Yeah, and when you're in Jurassic Park, you've got where you can watch it coming round, and it's great at night. It's stunning to watch at night.
Yeah, we even discussed how it was like the ambiance of that ride and that land just completely transformed as well.
Yeah.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
It's added so much more to that land.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going back to something I said in the last show, kinetic energy. It really adds that.
To everywhere.
Yeah. And I was worried about it. Going back previous shows, I was worried about how much of an impact it was going to have on the skyline and noise, and it doesn't.
It's really quiet.
And even when
It
people
is.
are going past screaming, it's kind of like,
Yeah,
what was that?
but it's
But
weird.
it's so fast you don't hear them. It's a ride. I mean, you know me, I love speed, and the fact you get those boosts,
Mhm.
they are amazing. And I love the fact that when you're in line, you see the car go off and you see the Raptors.
Yeah, it's
That is
awesome. Oh, yeah,
that
I
is
never mentioned that.
unbelievable. You know, because I'm guessing that's like Musion then.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's like a project. It's got like a window within a
Yeah.
window.
and but the fact you see the car, the train leave,
That works much better at
It's-
night.
it does.
It's like you said as well, though. When I think it was that front row ride, you get to the top of that top hat, and all sound seems to
It does.
drop out.
the air stops, the sound stops, and you. To be honest, I get
That is very true.
yeah, I get to the bottom every time. I get to the bottom of that top hat, and I just go, I've made a mistake.
Oh, you mean
And-
going up it?
Yeah, and it's not even going up it. It's all of
Yeah.
a sudden I'm realising at the point where we literally come through the trees and
and you
it's just-
launch into it.
and,
Yeah.
and you're halfway up before you realise you're halfway up it because it's fast. And then just as you start to curve and crest, and that's it, everything stops. And I've sat there and gone,
It's weird.
okay, think I might be dead. Because it seems to last forever. And
It
then all of a
does.
sudden you're just whipped
Yeah.
back down and you're off again. And the airtime you get there as well is just, it's crazy because on other rides where I've had airtime, you get flung up and you're held up. Whereas this, you just seem to like
Float.
gently
Yeah.
float.
Mhm.
And the mosasaur roll.
That is very cool.
I'll never look
It is.
left ever. I
I-
told Raymond to do it on his
Oh, it
first
made me
ride,
so
and he
sick.
did it, and he wished he hadn't.
I don't get
On the Mosasaurus roll?
Yeah.
I don't get sick on this ride. I get apprehensive, which is great.
Oh, I almost puked when I did that.
Yeah, I won't be doing that.
And there's one point, the inverted
Try that.
stall makes me very uncomfortable.
See, I love an inverted stall.
Well, the second time we rode this, I don't know which bit it was, but I actually got flung round. Like I
Twisted.
twisted, but I also came up and out. And
You didn't come out.
no,
See
my
ya.
my legs were straight at this point.
Awesome.
So I didn't have the bend in my knee.
Brilliant.
So I'm going, okay, I'm actually sliding out of this. So from then on, I made sure there was an extra click and my legs were dead by the time I came off. Because I got flung so much, I twisted and it pulled me out. And then going into an inverted stall, when you're not quite seated correctly, is
Brilliant.
a little worrying.
Mhm.
Hey, I've been back on.
I mean, I always hands up going through that mosasaur roll, and it's, you're not going to come out, but it's like, it's just in the back of your mind, like, there's not a lot holding me in this seat right now.
Dude, like honestly was about to mention that.
Uh-huh.
And I swear to you, there are times where I'm like, I am coming out.
Uh-huh.
Like if you just let your arms loose
Oh,
and
yeah.
unstiffen your body.
Yeah.
I'm
Just
sorry.
Make it malleable.
Yes.
And
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
At least you're over water at that point. That's
True.
That's what
gonna
I tell myself in that moment.
So like
it's
hitting
still gonna
concrete then.
suck.
No, you're not that far over the water.
So
You're also going fast. You're going very fast.
Yeah.
So it's going to hurt.
So
Water
what-
turns into rock.
But you won't die.
well, you could. But
want
what
to.
you're telling me then is people actually leave go.
Yeah, I do.
And you know me, I'm a hands up all the way around ride girl. But this, I haven't been
Leave
able to
what?
let go yet.
Let go. See, I do exactly what Chris said. Hands up, but just kind of relax and let that lap bar hold you in place. Not
It's
you.
terrifying.
Don't stiffen yourself against it.
Uh-huh.
Just let go. And it is kind of nerve-wracking, but wow.
It
Audrey
feels
does
like you're
that
going to
too.
come out, man.
Yeah,
I'm
it
telling you.
does.
I do not breathe properly on that ride night. Absolutely
But you have
love
to know
it.
you're not because they did this.
Don't
with test
challenge
dummies,
me,
and those
Michelle.
Test dummies don't stiffen up and
No.
hold on.
They haven't met this dummy.
yeah, I was just going to say no. You see, Hagrid's,
Yeah, because you don't go upside down or anything on it.
my arms are in the air the entire time.
Because you're not going to come out of that. This is flinging you all over the shop. I love it.
I love this.
It's
This is
I
2
also
minutes.
love how the fact that like the ride with the most intense movements has the least restraint on you as well.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
So true.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is the best to. I would actually go as far as to say it's my favorite coaster. Period. At this point,
So as I'd ridden that, everything else was just
I love
whew.
Wicker Man at Alton Towers. I ride that all day
yeah.
long, but this is that next level.
Yeah, and I love the paint and lighting package on this as well. It's
phenomenal.
next level.
It's phenomenal.
It's gorgeous at night.
yeah,
It really is.
And I am also very grateful for the fact that we literally, by the skin of our teeth, missed out getting absolutely drowned on it.
Yes.
Skin of our teeth.
Because if we'd have been on that, if we'd have been 4 people ahead of where we were,
And we complained about the people who got ahead of us at the lockers. So glad they did now.
yeah, it gets me excited for what's coming
Yeah.
to at Epic Universe when you can see what they can do with a coaster.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So I can guess what Chris's number one is now too.
Well, it's not your decision to tell me to go next. So
You
But
tell
is
her.
it the
I
same?
may be mandated by Tracy.
But is it the same?
No, it's Storm Force. Yeah, it's the same.
Of course it.
Well, you go with that and we'll end on a different one. So go on, Chris. Tell us your thoughts on the best
it's
coaster in the world.
literally for everything that was just said. Aside from it being just a phenomenal coaster, and I 100% agree with you, Lee. It is my favorite roller coaster. Not that I've ridden, tons of them, but it is my favorite. Not only because it is thrilling, but again, when you get older, roller coasters are different to you, and the fact that, just like with you, the fact that I can ride this and be perfectly fine coming off of it with no issues and can probably just back to back ride it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It says something, because I remember again, Alexa is also a huge thrill seeker. She loves roller coasters. When Dragon Challenge was around, she would want to ride that 2, 3, maybe 4 times
that's
back to back.
Tracy.
Yeah.
And I used to be able to do that. And then there was a time where it was like the second run in, I'm like, I'm feeling weird. I'm not sick. I'm just feeling weird.
Yeah.
And then I'd go a third time. I'm like, oh, this is what it feels like to get sick on a coaster.
Yeah.
Whereas Velocicoaster just doesn't do it. It's just so smooth. It gets the job done, and it's the best coaster for me. And aside from that, again, it just, when we did our picking our favorite lands episode, where Jurassic World or Jurassic Park became kind of top up there, just because of one ride. You know, it changed the landscape of an entire land based off of one ride, because it adds that ambiance. It adds that, life into that area. Life does find a way. And it did.
Love it.
Yeah. Yeah, like how you said there was me on Mako the first time we rode that at SeaWorld. Like, we went on it
Love
and I was
that
like,
coaster.
it's awesome. It is amazing. And then we did it twice and I'm like, yeah, that's probably about enough for me. And Jade and Tracy went on it again. And I was like,
and we would have got on the game, but we had a lunch date.
I felt a little, like, not ill, just like, I know if I go on it once more, it would probably do me for the day. So I'm just going to tap out at 2.
I'm right there with you on that.
Yeah, that's another one. I can't leave go on that one until the last third.
Have you done Mako, either of you two?
Oh,
I
yeah.
haven't. No.
That first drop, holy
One of my favorite coasters as well, but one is enough.
Wow.
It's that drop, because you feel like you're going up that lift hill forever. And you get to the top of it and you go, yeah, I have been going up that lift hill forever, because you come over that crest down
it,
like, oh my God, I've made a mistake.
Yes.
You know which one? So that ride, I think it's probably one of the tallest drops I've ever done on a roller coaster.
Have you done Sheikah
I
at
was
Busch
gonna say-
Gardens, Chris?
I have.
That's,
I haven't done it in a long time.
That is, I actually swore when we got to
But
the
because
top
you
of
go
that.
because you go upstairs and you load at the top, it's very deceptive.
Well, we did when we were up. I forgot the name of the theme park. It's over in is it North Carolina? Has Fury 365. I don't know which park that is. I forgot the name.
Was
off
that
the top of my head.
Carowinds?
Carowinds.
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
the
yeah.
one,
Yeah.
Okay.
We did Fury 365 at the end of the night before leaving the park. That ride, I actually had to convince myself to ride, because it is actually the tallest drop. I don't know if in the United States or in the world or something like that. It's ridiculous. It reminded me of Mako. That's why I'm bringing it up right now. But yeah, it's wild. I would not do that again, twice, maybe not again ever. But it was fun for what we did it for.
Okay, so
Yes.
all of this intensity that you guys are talking about,
And what are you coming
that's
in
the
with, Michelle?
exact reason why Velocicoaster did not make my current list.
I can't believe it didn't make your list at all.
Let me
though.
explain.
That's
I
true.
agree with everything you guys have all said. Every single bit of it. I really do. And when I go on Velocicoaster, I'm glad I did and I enjoy it. However, I haven't ridden it enough to have gotten over that like pre-ride sick feeling yet.
Okay.
Like I don't know if any of you guys experience that anymore, but it still gives me those like butterflies in my stomach before I get on
Well,
it,
'cause
which
you're
makes me
nervous
super,
about
super.
riding it.
It makes me uncomfortable. No, I don't. I don't like that. I push through it, but it doesn't make it as enjoyable of an experience for me.
I get it.
So therefore, Hagrid's is my number one
course.
right now. Now, 5 years from now, it might be different.
Yeah.
But for now, because of the enjoyment factor and the fact that I have to ride it every time, no matter what, Hagrid's is my number one. Velocicoaster, amazing. It really is. It's amazing. I love the queue. I love the raptors. I love the animatronic raptors. I mean, good God, those are amazing. I love the locker system. I love how smooth it is. I love the top hat. I love it all.
Yeah.
But because that sick feeling that I get before the top hat, and now that starts from the moment I start walking up to the coaster. Actually, it starts from the moment I decide we're going to go ride Velocicoaster.
Really?
Michelle, is that why you
until
didn't ride it during the weekend?
Well, I had Krissa with me too.
Yeah, I tried to get her to go on it, but she wouldn't.
No, there's no way she's going to go on it anytime soon. But that feeling lasts from the moment I decide to ride the ride until I'm at the top of the top hat.
See, the craziest thing to me about that is that's what I look for. I don't get that in rides.
Yeah.
And when I find a ride that actually instills fear in me, I'm like, oh.
And it's
we're in for a
weird
good time.
because that's exactly why it's at the top of my list, because
Yeah.
it's an
Yeah, I don't
intense
like that
coaster that
feeling.
doesn't make me feel nervous to ride it. I'm not there going, is this going to be the ride that makes me ill? Because I'm excited to ride it, and never thought I would go to a theme park and have one of the most intense coasters that I've ever ridden be the one thing that I am looking forward to above everything else.
So what you're saying then is, on those points, Dr. Doom should be my number one.
No,
And I should. So what you said is I should ride it again.
on that though. I mean, yeah, I think you should
I
always-
hate
If you
it.
like that feeling, then
I do.
you should like that ride.
I love stuff like that, but I hate that ride. If it took you up and dropped you, not a problem.
the shoot up's the best.
I can't do that. That makes me physically ill.
Oh, I love
it's
it.
the only ride on property I cannot do.
Which one?
Dr. Doom.
Dr. Doom.
I had to ride it on
So
my
I'm
own
doing
in
it in
December.
September.
Literally
I'm
honorable
determined.
mention.
I'm doing it.
Awesome. I love it.
I'll
I
hate,
rode it in
Yeah.
in December because it was like a 5-minute
yeah,
wait.
I'll hate every second of it.
Oh, it's awesome.
That's one of the
But I'm
one of the
doing
few
it.
rides in the park that literally still gets like that feeling out of me. Just every single time.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah.
it just getting shot up. It's awesome.
It is. It really is. And then that shoot back down as well because you're kind of like, I'm at the top, and then oh crap, I'm going back down.
Yeah.
And of course, you got to ask for the park facing
Yeah.
seats.
Yeah, I like it, but it's just it's not usually worth the wait. That's the problem.
Yeah.
If it's anything over 20 minutes, it's not worth
Anyway,
it.
Michelle,
Yes, I agree.
carry on quantifying Hagrid's
I mean,
for us.
no, I love Velocicoaster, and we actually rode it in October. So we had when was our weekender in December? So we rode it in October before the weekender, and we made Krissa just sit outside and wait for us. And it was fabulous. We rode it at night, which makes it have an even scarier factor, in my opinion. I hate the back. Absolutely will not. Like, I would request not to sit in the back, like third of the
Wow.
of the coaster.
That's where we request.
No, I like the front. The very first time I rode it, I was in the very front just by chance. I didn't even request it.
Mm.
And I loved it. Once I get over that top hat, I love the whole rest of it. Like, I can put my hands
There's
up when I
30
get to the
seconds
top of
left.
the top hat.
I mean, it's funny. That's the thing about Tracy when because of her back and stuff. That when we got on it, me and Raymond were at the back, and
We
you
were
and Jade were like
in
second from
front of
back,
you.
and you were like, "This is gonna hurt, isn't
Yeah.
it?" And she got off and went, "That was amazing."
Yeah.
Yeah, see, it's always the build up to the rides that get me the most, just like Rip Ride Rocket. The reason why I won't ride it is because of the beginning.
I love
once
Rip Ride
I'm
Rocket.
sure once I got over the climb, the
Yeah.
rest of it I would love.
Honestly, do you know what? That climb is terrifying.
Really?
Yeah, it is.
The climb isn't terrifying to me. It's the fact that it breaks down so often that's terrifying to me.
Exactly.
That's the only terrifying part.
And
When
that's
I'm
what
on the ride,
scares
it's
me.
like just get over the top.
I like
get
it.
stuck anywhere else.
I
Yeah.
love Rip Ride Rocket. We don't ride
I'm
it
with you.
enough, to be quite honest.
I think I would my pants if there was a rollback on Velocicoaster. I know everybody
I would
wants that to
love it.
happen.
The
That's
dream.
like the yeah.
But then
I
again, you
think I
just
would
said you
shit my
can't.
pants.
Oh no, I'd take that. That's different. That's not a prolonged. It's just a roll back like halfway down and then they set you off again. I would take that because that's got a payoff at the end of it.
Imagine if you're front row and you just
Yeah.
crested, and then the weight pulls you all the way back down.
I
You've got to
would
get
love
that
it, but it
backwards
doesn't
weight.
happen
Technically, you
very
can get
often.
you can get over the top and you're facing
Yeah.
downward and then get ripped backwards. Yeah,
I
That
would
would-
take that over getting stuck on Rip Ride Rocket any day for sure.
Well, it's better than
Which
a
is
rollback
why I
from
ride
Rip Ride.
Velocicoaster and won't ride Rip Ride Rocket.
It just blows
But yeah.
my mind that it's not on your list at all.
I don't like that feeling. So that's really the only determining factor.
And other
Like I
things
said,
that-
after I ride it more and more and more and I get more comfortable with it, that might change. But
and you know Michelle is very thorough in how she rates things.
Oh yeah.
Remember the hotels?
I know.
yes.
I just like when it came to making this list, I was just like, right, I'm just going to start with my number one because that's the easiest one.
Yeah, I did the same.
It's like there's no competition. Honestly,
I did consider Velocicoaster, but I was like, no, I mean, because I don't have to ride it every time. I have to convince myself to ride it. I
That's
have
fair
to work
enough.
myself
Yeah,
up to
That
ride
makes
fair
it.
enough.
sense.
Yeah.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, okay. You feel like you ride it, so it's one of those. You do enjoy it when you're on it, but you feel like you should ride it because of what it is, rather than wanting
Exactly.
to ride
Yeah.
it. Yeah, and that's
Exactly.
then you're completely justified in not having it in your top five. Then, whereas for me, it's like, right, when are we riding Velocicoaster? Except the
Yeah.
first night when I feel a bit queasy because Alexa tried to drag me on it that first night with the kids, and I'm like, it's been a long day. I'm feeling a bit ropey. Let's not make this my first ride.
Let's not tempt fate again.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm perfectly fine not riding it when it's just me and Chris at the parks. Like it doesn't hurt my feelings that I didn't ride it on this trip.
See, I think-
Hagrid's, it kind of hurts me a little bit when
Yeah.
we don't get to ride it.
yeah.
That's fair enough.
Usually Audrey's with me and she's the reason I go on Velocicoaster.
Weird,
So
isn't it?
yeah,
That's fair
That was
enough.
good. It was interesting to hear what everybody had. Did anybody have anything that just missed out by the skin of its teeth?
I can't. No one's said
Honorable
anything
mentions.
yet.
nobody had Forbidden Journey.
Yeah, because
It's not the same anymore.
Yeah.
it
It
really
doesn't
makes
feel
me
the
ill.
same. It feels a little dated. The screens need love.
I won't
It does.
even try and keep my eyes open for those screen sections anymore because I'm not prepared to take that risk. Because the last time I rode it and rode it fully, eyes
You were
open,
green
I
afterwards.
was not well.
No.
And I'm convinced at this point that it wasn't Hagrid's that made me ill. It was the combination of Forbidden Journey setting that nausea in and then Hagrid's just kind of knocking
Yeah.
it home.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. That right. Even the screens aside, like the what is it? Kuku arm.
Kuka.
Kuku arm.
Kook arm.
Yeah, I mean it's cool and it was ahead of its time, but it's just it's not an enjoyable ride for me.
I still
Does that
like
make sense?
I like it.
No,
It's
I like it.
relaxing. I actually take a little nappy on it
Really?
these days.
But
Yeah.
what? We've ridden
I
it
get in my
once
little
in the last
comfortable
2 trips.
position and it's like being rocked.
I'm getting tossed too much. I'm like,
I think it
No,
speaks
it's
volumes the fact
smooth.
that Tracy and I have only ridden it once in our last 2 trips.
Mm.
But like I was saying, I can't. No one's gone. Why is Men in Black not on your list? Like not even.
oh yeah,
Not even in my top 5.
Wow.
that
That's
is
surprising.
wild. I thought it was gonna be your one, to be honest.
I'll be honest. Kind of a lot of what was already said. It's in desperate need of some TLC.
And a lot more stuff has been
There
produced
is,
since
but
that is a lot
I
better.
feel like I'll still ride it a ton every time we go, but I don't know whether I've sickened myself off from it a little bit. It became very aware to me the last time we were there how short it actually is. It's not a very long ride actually. Like once you get through the ambush section, it's kind of over at that point, and I'm like, I feel kind of disappointed, especially when you ride it like I said, I did it 7 times in a row, and by the end of it, I was like, yeah, I'm about done for that now.
Yeah.
Maybe if you back to back it, but I've never really felt it being a short ride, to be honest. I feel like it's pretty decent
It's not
length.
It's weird for me to say that it's a ride I will ride multiple times every time we go and it not be in my top 5, but I don't know. It's a difficult one. And I feel like people are going, oh, he's just doing that to be controversial, which isn't beyond me. I know that, but I'm not. The other ones are ones that I feel I would ride or experience a ton, but feel at this point in their lifespan are just better attractions right now. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, Mummy and Spider-Man just missed out. I started with a list of 7.
I had a list of 9, and Hagrid's, Mummy, Men in Black and Gringotts didn't make my list.
Yeah.
Hagrid didn't make your list at all.
No, and again, purely because it's just those wait times are just prohibitively long. Like I say, Tracy
Which
only wrote it
surprises me
twice.
because you're an early magic, not early magic. Why can't I think of the word?
You're going to say something that's wrong right now.
I was. Well, you generally hit the parks early.
Not as early as you would.
You can't get me out of bed
think.
now.
We rarely hit the parks
because of the time difference for you.
No, it doesn't work like that anymore. I just don't sleep at all. So.
Oh, okay.
But even like I said, even when we were over in December, that first 2 days, the parks were dead, and it was still over an hour every day. And it's just like, I don't want to put that much time into riding it. I rode it 3 times. I waited 55 minutes with Raymond, or 50 minutes, whatever it was, and then our friend walked us to the front of the line. And that's the only other reason we rode it those twice, because I honestly don't know whether I'd have bothered. It's not, and that tells me that it's not my top 5 when I won't wait, regardless of the wait time. If it was that good, if it was in my top 5, I would wait for it, whatever the wait time was. And I'm just like, the only reason I waited that 50 minutes is because Raymond hadn't done it before, and I didn't think we'd get on it. And it was just like, do you know what? I'm just going to get you on it.
Yeah.
See, for me, it's worth the wait. I'm always so happy when I get off that ride. Like it just, as soon as I get off the ride, I'm like, I don't even remember how long I waited, just because it was so awesome.
Well, each to their own.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you have it on your list?
What?
Hagrid's.
Yeah, it was number 3.
Yeah.
Same as Chris.
Was I the only one that didn't have it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Weirdo.
Yeah.
We'd like to get a list of top 5 too.
You can get the listeners involved again.
We would. Oh, we do. We like it when people join in. So send us your top 5 attractions in order 5th to 1st, and Lee will put it all together because he hasn't got enough to do.
I mean, I'll try. It'll be an interesting one, this one. I feel this is one of those ones that, because it's like ranking the hotels is easy. This could be all over the place.
I know. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he's going to attempt to come up with a definitive listener top 5. Now, there's a typo here, and I'm going with it. Because, no.
I know. I tried to correct it, and
I
she
put
changed it back.
Yeah, for a reason. Because he's put attractions, which is the things you do on your holiday.
Okay.
We have a new word,
Is
people. Attractions. It is now.
Okay.
Things to do on your vacation.
Okay.
So,
Well, we need a different list for that then,
yeah.
because that's not just rides.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
it
mine
is.
would
I mean, it
include
is,
the pool.
yes.
Lee
Oh.
and Tracy's
Alright.
would not include the pool.
Chris went the same
Clear.
place I did.
Oh, I don't know.
All right, cool. Making sure I wasn't the only.
No, my brain went exactly the
Yeah.
same place yours did.
One of the reasons why, when Lee was like, if you could stay at another hotel, would you? And I was like, oh, you try to drag me away from Dockside again when I didn't get a bubba tub last time.
Oof.
I am having a bubba tub. Yes. So, yes, send us your top 5, please, and send them to us at podcast@uuopodcast.com.
I should put a date on this because otherwise I won't push it. Anyway, I will give you
Tomorrow.
until, when's this come out? 20 minutes. So I'll give you till, let's see, Friday, April, May, June 9th.
Okay. I definitely won't be here then. And, well, that is going to end another podcast for a while for me. And we're going to do so with another Universal Is. And as this is my last show for a few months, That's really scary to say. That's really weird.
It is weird.
This week's Universal Is comes from me, and I still haven't decided on what it is. I have a list. Don't forget, though, we'd like you to get involved, so let us know what you think Universal is in 3 words or less. And send it to a podcast at UUOPodcast.com. You all know this address by now.
We need them, actually. We haven't got that many left.
Tracy, I think since you're going to be missing out on 12 shows, you just give us 12 Universal Is.
Yeah. Yes, so, for me, Universal is next in Japan. See you in 3 months.
That was another episode of the Unofficial Universal Orlando Podcast, the best and only podcast about Universal Orlando on the island. Check us out on social media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Pinterest. Just search UUO Podcast. For all the podcasts, news, and articles, check out our blog at UUOpodcast.com. Contact us at podcast@UUOpodcast.com. Join the Producers Club by emailing us at UUOPproducers@gmail.com. Listen and subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Check out our friends, the Theme Park Duo, for all your other theme park news, and email Michelle at PortKeyVacations.net to book your next trip. So until next time, this is Amity 6, Call Off the Marines, we're coming home.